Good evening, everybody. This is Dustin Cook, and I just wanted to talk with you briefly about mood and tone, what they are, how they work, and more importantly, what they do to a piece of writing. Um, a few people try to use the terms mood and tone interchangeably, but there are some really distinct differences that I want to talk about. So, mood is the emotion and the feeling that the reader experiences during the reading process. Think environmentally, think about a setting. As a character is walking through a dark, damp forest in the middle of the night and there's glowing eyes everywhere, there may be this feeling of danger, this feeling of panic, of, just being afraid. That's the mood. And depending on the story, the mood can change with the characters, or in some maybe shorter stories, it can stay the same mood throughout the whole work. And it's usually this overarching feeling you get after reading something. Tone, on the other hand, is a particular moment where the author makes their attitude known about something or about someone. And they do this with a very particular and very intentional set of words that they use. And it's going to be very dynamic. So within any given mood, that overarching feeling, you can have multiple tones set inside of that. So let's kind of look at an example of how this can work. And so I kind of wrote this just to kind of exaggerate a point here. So as I said in the waiting room, I could hear a pin drop. I know that hospitals aren't supposed to be fun, but this was just painful. They could have turned on a radio, or the television, or come and talk to me, or done anything to distract me from the thoughts in my head, but they didn't. As my eyes wandered across the carpet looking for anything at all, I began to wonder how many of those stains were from tears shed by people sitting exactly where I was sitting now. For just a brief moment, I let myself think about the day we brought my fuzzy little Marco home, and about how I had just instantly fallen in love with his silly antics. And even if, just for a second, I smiled. So if we kind of look at the overarching feeling of that paragraph, I think it's really gloomy. I think it's really sad, maybe even frantic. Things like they could have done anything at all. Or, as my eyes begin wandering across the carpet looking for anything at all. Those things kind of give this really kind of frantically trying to change mood. But at the exact same time, there's this little segment where the author lets us know how he feels specifically about this dog Marco. He says, for just a brief moment, I let myself think about the day we brought my fuzzy little Marco home. Right? So a word like fuzzy, you wouldn't expect to see that alongside, sitting in a hospital room where it's not supposed to be fun. They could have done anything. There's all these stains, maybe they're tears. So fuzzy just doesn't really fit here. Neither does silly antics, and honestly, neither does smiling. But by doing those things, we get a little sense of an author's tone, right? So this overarching feeling here is, like I said, it's very sad, it's very dismal, but in this particular moment where the author or the narrator or the main character, whoever's talking here, whenever they get to think about the little dog Marco, all of a sudden the tone of the story changes, even if temporarily. Let's look at maybe a little bit lighter of an example. The cold night air was thick with the sound of laughter and screams, and the drool practically poured out of my mouth from the sweet smell of funnel cake. As I walked into the carnival, the thoughts of Becky Sue with her perfect hair, her perfect family, and her obnoxiously perfect haircut quickly left my mind. With a little help from the Ferris wheel and a pocket full of quarters, this was sure to be the best day of my life. And I think, again, if we look at the overarching feeling, we get things like sound of laughter and screams, right? So they're at a carnival, they're having fun. We have drool practically pouring out of someone's mouth. How is that not fantastic? We have descriptions like the sweet smell of funnel cake. We have this, maybe bad image quickly leaving their mind. And it even ends with, this was sure to be the best day of my life. So I think the overarching feeling or the mood is maybe hopeful, maybe excited, maybe they're feeling refreshed. So that's a very positive, uplifting mood. But how does the author feel specifically about Becky Sue with her perfect hair, her perfect family, and her obnoxiously perfect haircut? Maybe the author's a little jealous of Becky Sue. Maybe they're a little irritated with Becky Sue. These little indicators, this sarcastic use of perfect and the word obnoxious, let you know that there's definitely not a positive relationship here. And that's because of this intentional word choice, the tone that's given through those words. And we can kind of play with the tone just a little bit to see what it does. So let's alter some words slightly. What if instead we said Becky Sue's beautiful face, her melodious laughter, and the deep ache in my heart quickly left my mind? Now all of a sudden we still have this overarching mood of feeling very light and uplifting and happy, but there's this hidden tone when it comes to Becky Sue. Maybe the author's longing. Maybe he misses her. Maybe he's feeling mournful. Maybe she, went to summer camp or whatever the situation may be. Let's look at that one more time. What if we said Becky's stupid face, her ridiculous laughter, and her immature prank quickly left my mind? Now all of a sudden, not supposed to be longing and mournful. Silly Mr. Cook. I was thinking it's probably really angry, really irritated, really, maybe not vengeful because we don't have any reason to think they're going to do anything. But now instead of being, sad or anything like that, now it's some more mad, so the tone has really changed here based on those words. But I think if we reread the whole paragraph one more time. So the cool night air was thick with the sound of laughter and screams, and drool practically poured out of my mouth from the sweet smell of funnel cake. As I walked into the carnival, the thoughts of Becky Sue's stupid face, her ridiculous laughter, and her immature prank quickly left my mind. With a little help from the Ferris wheel and a pocket full of quarters, this was sure to be the best day of my life. So even with that, I still think that there's an overarching tone, or an overarching mood rather, that's very positive. So just to kind of conclude, let's pretend that this was a work. And the blue is paragraphs, and the green is sentences within that paragraph. The mood is going to come from a little bit of everything. Describing the setting, talking about what people are doing, describing action, so on and so forth. Those are all slowly going to build this mood. However, in these kind of particular circumstances, the author can use a particular word choice to kind of reveal how they feel about something, and reveal in that their tone. Just as kind of a concluding thing, here are some words that are commonly used to describe both tone and mood. And I think about it, if you really think of these as quick little things and quick little opinions you can have about something or some place or something, maybe the author's feeling amused or angry or cheerful, maybe a little bit gloomy, maybe they say something witty, Or maybe it's a very light tone, very kind of just, happy and gentle. But then think about a setting. Maybe it could be a very frightening setting, a very frustrating setting, a gloomy setting, a suspenseful setting, or a suspenseful feeling from that setting, mysterious, romantic. Those things kind of describe an overarching feeling, while these kind of describe maybe a temporary or less intense feeling. So hopefully you feel really comfortable with these two concepts now. We will discuss them further in class. Thank you.